Hi everyone, welcome along. I'm here with Lawrence. So Lawrence and I met at a networking meeting a couple of months ago now, maybe a month or so ago now. We spoke for all of 2 minutes maybe. And Lawrence thought that the idea of hopping on a call with me and sort of talking through some sales challenges you've got might be of value. And so that's where we're coming in. I don't know a huge amount about Lawrence's business. Sort of coming in here with limited information. But Lawrence, I guess just to get us all started off, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your business, just so anybody watching kind of gets the context of the business that you've got, maybe some of the constraints that you've got. And yeah, then let's dive into your biggest B2B sales challenge and we'll see what we can do to help.
Perfect, Pete. Thank you so much. My business is a consultancy. We consult on every aspect of digital marketing, whether it be organic social media, paid advertising, web development, CRO, SEO, email marketing. I'm out of fingers on this hand. We consult on it all, and I've got a team behind me that can step in to owners' businesses and actually act upon the items that we consult on, saving business owners time and money and generating more results than if they do it themselves. So that's the
Fantastic.
elevator pitch.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. So you get marketing, right? So you're a little bit of an advantage to maybe
Yes,
some of the other founders out there who are struggling with sales and marketing, but you've got the marketing thing down. What's happening in sales
correct.
for you? Where's a sales challenge that you've got? If we could unblock it, it would really make a difference to your business.
The biggest challenge that I have time on my hands. I have a list of about 8,000 mortgage brokers that I'm willing to call, but I'm not willing to actually pick up the phone and call them. There is a constraint, a hidden constraint, stopping me from doing that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so the core of your challenge here, right? Sounds like it's cold lead gen.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah. And so
I'm scared. I'm fearful of picking up the phone and cold calling someone,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is funny because I'm not scared of many, many things, but this one item.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably got something to do with all the crappy cold calls you've received from people who try and push stuff down your throat that is of no use to you, and they don't let you get off this phone and they talk over you,
Correct.
and like you've had a crappy experience, right? And so you don't want to be that for other people. You want to
Many,
be
many crappy experiences.
right. And so having resistance to this as a founder is totally reasonable. But what I do want to check in with before we go down the route of kind of breaking that down a little bit is why do you think cold calling mortgage brokers is the most effective way for you to put time in to get a qualified leads out?
We call back all of our inbound leads. We do generate inbound leads within 10 seconds of their information being submitted. Unfortunately, I'm out of inbound leads to actually call because I call all of them within 10 seconds. Hence, I'm looking for other ways to increase our business.
Of course, of course. So I'm curious, out of the business that you've won so far, like if you break down your most successful clients that you definitely want more of,
Yep.
are they mortgage brokers or what are their characteristics?
Mortgage brokers are the profile, the industry of
Uh-huh.
finance broking, I should say, that
Uh-huh.
we've been able to deliver the highest amount of results for. I base my work off the results that I deliver people.
Mhm.
Because we've managed to deliver results to mortgage brokers, I want more of them.
Mhm.
I'm in business to serve people, not to make money. Money's just a byproduct.
Yeah, 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 of course. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So you're getting the best results for mortgage brokers. How did
Yes.
you find apart from generally doing your marketing side of things, have you found how have the mortgage brokers that you've had so far found you?
Quite direct. I wouldn't use the term blunt, even though it has been said. I tell people what they need to hear,
No, no, no. Sorry.
not
I think
what
I
they
think
want to
maybe
hear. Oh,
maybe you
sorry.
misheard me. I was saying out of the mortgage brokers that have come into your funnels and
Yes.
you've done business with, how
Yep.
did they show up there? Like, has it been different marketing
Oh, I'm
channels?
so
Was it
sorry. I misunderstood
referrals?
that.
Yeah, yeah. How did you get them?
A lot of word of mouth at the
Hmm.
moment. I find word of mouth is the best way to actually go about receiving new business
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
you've helped someone, they've got their personal story
Hmm.
that I'm included in.
Mm-hmm.
and it breaks more ground personally.
Mm. Have you have you ever been to, I know you go networking, but have you ever been to like specific property related industry events where there's mass amounts of mortgage brokers? Like, have you tried other channels like that?
You can probably tell from the smile that's crept across my face. No, I have not.
Yeah, so look, I'm not saying don't do cold calling. What I'm saying is trying to
Yeah.
explore whether cold calling is actually the most effective use of your time. Now, my sense is that it's probably worth an experiment, right? Like often people
Yes.
think, oh, cold call, I need more leads, cold calling. That's how you do sales, right? Like that's what salespeople do, isn't it? Right. And it's like actually there's a whole rift of ways that you can get sales generated leads as opposed to marketing generated leads, right? Obviously, you're all over doing the marketing generated lead side. The
Yep.
sales generated lead side is the cold outreach, right? So what we're trying to do
Yes.
is distill not just who is our target market, but what's the trigger event that leads to them needing to invest money in us now. So if you can try and think about that, do you have any insights as to like the mortgage brokers you've worked with, or like what's the perfect time for a mortgage broker to work with you? What's happened in their business? Do they have a certain size? Have they spent money on some marketing that hasn't worked, or like what's the situation, the characteristics that mean I want to spend money on marketing now?
That final mortgage brokers have an incredibly long sales cycle
Mm-hmm,
from the time where they receive the lead to
mm-hmm,
the time that they actually get the payouts. It
mm-hmm,
sits between 2 and 3 months minimum.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Hence, a lot of them are quite reluctant to
mm,
throw money at marketing.
mm-hmm,
And I've worked out the majority of mortgage brokers find all their business through word of mouth referrals.
mm-hmm.
So I'm so sorry, Pete. Could you repeat the question in a condensed format?
So what you've told me is why they object, why they don't want to spend money on marketing.
Yes.
What I want to understand
Yes.
is what set of
Mhm.
circumstances mean that they do want to spend money on marketing or make it a no-brainer for them to spend
Increasing
money.
their team size, if they increase their team size, if they get additional loan writers underneath them,
Mm-hmm.
they need to be able to fill those loan writers' time.
Mm,
Hence, they need more leads coming in. They need consistent lead flow.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I provide that consistency for companies.
Gotcha. And that's a really core. Do you see what I feel like we're kind of hitting on here, right? Is that you could have a list.
Yes.
Did you say you had 8,000 mortgage broker list?
8,000 mortgage brokers,
Right.
correct.
Which is great, right? And maybe we leverage that list, or maybe we leverage a
Yep.
portion of it, or start with a small portion and run like a mini campaign, right? So, what I'd be really
Yep.
curious to do is if there's some way that you could get intelligence to say, this mortgage broking practice has just hired their first person, or they've just increased headcount, or they're looking like they're trending towards increasing their headcount. I know on LinkedIn, you can use Sales Navigator and see
You can,
has hired
correct.
in the last 6 months or has job ads out at the moment. And if you went and did, if you had your list qualified by that as a term, you're obviously not going to have 8,000. You're going to have a much smaller list.
Yeah. But a
For your
much
initial,
smaller list is okay.
right. But for an initial campaign where you're sort of targeting them, like imagine if you picked up the phone to someone that you knew had a job listing on LinkedIn as a mortgage broker. Maybe they've got one person in their team already,
Yep.
and they've got a job listing for their second person in their team. You pick up the phone, you say, "Hey, I noticed you guys are hiring at the moment." And you're increasing. Typically, that means that you need really robust, consistent lead flow. How are you guys going with that at the moment?
Quite well. I feel like we need to practice what we preach. Hence, all the aspects that we actually consult on, we do ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So inbound lead flow is good. We
Mm-hmm.
could always up the advertising efforts by pouring more money into it, but we are busy enough as is.
Mm.
It's more so I am looking at increasing my team size, and quite like the mortgage brokers that I work with, if I increase the team size, I need to have the work to go along with that.
Of course. Sorry, what I was giving you there was a pitch for the mortgage brokers. Imagine you're pitching to mortgage brokers that you know are about to
Yes.
hire, and you pick up the phone to them and
Yes.
you cold call them and you say, "Hey, I was on LinkedIn and I noticed you guys are hiring,"
Yep.
right? they say, yeah, we are. We're looking for another broker. Great. How are you guys going with your lead flow at the moment? I imagine you've obviously got some good level of leads coming through given you're hiring, but it's probably
Yeah.
pretty important for you to have some like real robust consistency to that
Correct.
lead flow and it to be ever
Consistency.
increasing. Right.
I
Is
feel like
that
consistency is a good sales point.
perfect,
Yeah.
right? And so then you're then like, and then they're saying, yes, that would be valuable. No, I'm all
Yeah.
over it. I'm already using a marketing agency, right? You've got a qualified, relevant conversation. You're just not a marketing agency
Correct.
picking up the phone going, hey, do you need marketing? Hey, do you need
Yeah,
marketing?
yeah, yeah.
Right? You've
We
gone,
don't
I've
we
done my
don't sell the
research.
service or product, we sell the results.
Exactly, right. And so, but if you've done that type of research, they feel seen, not like they're just called from a massive list, which you would be if you were just calling through the 8,000, which is okay. And you can
Correct.
totally try that. But if you're looking for, I need a bit of courage to get this up and do it, the more specific and more tailored you can do your outreach,
Yep.
the less chance of you just, falling on deaf ears. I mean, does that make it
100%.
feel a little bit easier to go and do a bit of calling?
For sure. 100%, Peter. Thank you.
No worries. Now, like that's just from a tactical,
Yes.
strategic level of a way you could run your first campaign.
Yep.
Even prove it out, right? Because you might get the courage to call 8,000 off and go through all 8,000 and not get a single deal, right? We want it. We
Of
want it to
course.
work, right? So if we're doing it with a smaller subset, you're trying it with an initial approach like that. See if you can book some meetings, like run it as like a month-long kind of project or something like that. Strategically, I just think to build this function out of your business would be a really good way for you to kind of test it out, give yourself a small period of time where you got to kind of pluck up the courage. You don't feel like, everybody else, you've done that extra bit of research. Does that feel like something that would be, you'd be up for doing?
Of course. It feels like it'd be beneficial ultimately.
Awesome. Cool. So let's now talk into like the resistance, right? Like with that type
Mm.
of approach, how does that what if 10 was I will not do this if my life depends on it, and one was I can do this with my eyes closed, like driving a car, it's
Correct.
easy as. Where are you feeling on resistance level at the moment for going ahead with a 1 month campaign to these targeted mortgage brokers?
I'm going to say 6.5, which
Cool.
might still be a little bit high, but I feel like that number will drop immensely after I complete my first four. First one's always the hardest.
Yeah, yeah. So I wonder whether tell me more about the resistance. What's like where's the fear? What's it feel like? What's going on for you?
I have done 3 cold calls in my life. Without swearing, I was told to underscore off. I was told to go get underscored and another expletive. 3 in a row. It wasn't a feeling that I particularly enjoyed,
Yeah.
but it is stock standard. Granted, this was about a year and a half ago. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was selling.
Mm,
I'm well and truly more in the know now, but those fears have just ingrained themselves in my
mhm,
mind.
mhm, mhm.
So I need to break that barrier.
How do you feel about going up to somebody in a room where you're networking?
Oh, completely fine. Face to face. I'm fantastic at face to face.
Yeah, cool.
I'd argue at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect, right? And you sound like you feel fully comfortable in that, right?
Of course. Comfortable, confident, all of the above.
Is there anything in the interaction of going up to someone face to face that you could borrow as far as a mindset, a courage, a reference point of like people being open that might help get you in a state that will make the resistance kind of lower to going ahead and giving this a try?
I feel like if I were to be as confident with people over the phone as I am in person,
Mm-hmm.
it would be fine, I'd argue.
Cool. So what I think here's what I would suggest, right? Like if you commit to what feels plausible, right? I feel like it might help us bring that 6.5 level of resistance down a bit. You're still definitely going to have resistance, right? Until you've kind of figured it
Of
out,
course, of
proven it,
course.
and you will get people who will be annoyed at you and whatever else,
Yep.
right? But if you've done your research, if you've gone the extra mile, you can go on that call being like, yeah, I'm not just like calling through a list. I'm genuinely calling someone who I think I
Yep.
can really move the dial for. You come in with that general authenticity, trying to solve
Yep.
a problem for them. I think that's going to make it easier for you. And if you dovetail that, when I say commit to things that feel plausible, right? So if you've got a month, and I don't know what your list will be when you kind of put those parameters in, right? Like they've got a job listing, like we've got some sort of insight that they're going to, be hiring, and you're going in with that angle.
Correct.
Let's say in the first week, what would feel like an easy amount of calls to make, or a plausible amount of calls to make, rather?
Amounts of calls, meaning calls if they pick up the phone or not.
Just dials. Yep. How many dials?
Okay. I think 20 a day would be doable.
20 a day would be doable.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you feel like you could call through 100 people
100
in
a week. I feel like that could happen.
Okay. Awesome. Love it. So what I would love you to commit to for week 1 is to call 50. I want you to call 10 a day for the first week. Let's make it easy. Let's make it accessible. Like
Perfect.
10 calls, maybe 9 of them don't even pick up, right? And 1 of them do, right?
Yep.
10 calls a day for the first week, and then set yourself your new KPI for the week after that once you finish that first week.
Slowly increasing.
Yeah. If you by the end of the first week, you're like, you know what, this is easy. I'm all good. I just need to pump some more volume into
this will not work.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, is 50 dials enough to prove out that it doesn't work? I don't think so.
Probably not. No.
Yeah. That's why I want you to do it for a month, right? If you're going to prove it out, like let's commit to it for a month, commit for the first week, your personal KPIs, do your research beforehand, and have the time blocked out in your calendar, right? Because you're a small business owner. Reactive stuff happens all the time. Stuff pops up. It's like every day, this time is my calling time. This is I'm going to give it a crack time, and maybe it goes longer, maybe it goes shorter, but just make sure you get in. If you do 8 on the first day, I want you doing 12 on the second. Like, figure it out, get the job done, see what happens. And then, at the end of that first month, sit down and go, I made X calls. I got this many conversations. I got this many meetings out of it. Did I close anything? Do I feel like if I do this for another month, I'm actually going to get somewhere? That type of thing. Let's, put the structure around it. And then you kind of you can be in it rather than, is this going to work? Is it just commit to the thing, give it a go, and then review it retrospectively, have some basic numbers around it. And then you've got a really good campaign that you've given a crack.
Thank you for that plan, Pace. Really, really appreciate that.
Oh, awesome. What do you think that would mean for the business if you did figure this out as a channel?
Oh, it would mean that the business would grow, for one, which is my ultimate goal at the moment, growing the business.
Perfect. Love that. Awesome. Well, look, I really I hope either way, I'm sure you'll learn something from this experience, right? So I'm excited for you to give it a crack. Good luck with it. Fantastic. I hope to hear it goes well.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the session today.
No worries. Thank you, Pete. All the best.